If your Airbnb payout suddenly looks like it went on a diet, don't blame your cleaner, don't blame the algorithm, and definitely don't blame your partner. There's a very specific reason this is happening to a lot of hosts right now. And if you fix it the right way, you can protect your profit without scaring off bookings. If you fix it the wrong way, you'll either quietly bleed margin for months or you'll jack up rates and watch your calendar go from nice to crickets. So let's make this simple, practical, and honestly kind of fun, because once you understand the math, it's not scary. I'm Daniel Vosotas, and today I'm going to show you the three-step pricing fix for Airbnb's host-only fee shift, so you keep payouts healthy and stay competitive in 2026. Quick compliance note, before we get into this, the video is for educational purposes only. I don't offer financial advice or investment services. Any reference to blockchain tokenization or DeFi are purely informational and related to hospitality and real estate innovation. Everything we're talking about today is hospitality operations, pricing strategy, and how platforms impact host payouts. Now here's what's going on. Airbnb has been moving many hosts toward a simplified pricing model where the service fee is charged to the host as a single fee, instead of being split between the host and the guest. For a lot of hosts, that number is around 15.5%. The important point is not whether you love it or hate it. The important point is understanding what it does to your payout and how guests are seeing prices now, because that combination changes how you should price. And here's the second piece that matters just as much as the fee. Guests are increasingly comparing listings based on total price they see up front. Airbnb has pushed total price displays so the guests can see the full cost before taxes earlier in the shopping process. That means that cheap nightly rate with a giant fee surprise later basically is dead. In 2026, you're not competing on your nightly rate. You're competing on the total displayed price and the value story your listing tells fast. So step one is brutally simple. And it's the step almost everyone skips because they assume they already know the answer. You need to confirm which fee model you're actually on, not what your friend is on, not what somebody else posted in a group, not what you think Airbnb usually does. You personally need to check your own payout breakdown. Open a recent reservation. Look at the line items. If you see a host service fee that's being deducted from your payout as a single fee, you're living in the host-only world. If you still see a small host fee with a guest service fee on the guest side, you're still in the split fee world. That's important because you can't fix a pricing problem unless you know which rules you're playing by. And it also matters because not every host gets the same structure forever. Fees can vary depending on region, stay length, cancellation policies, and other factors. So your job is not to memorize a number. Your job is to verify what's happening in your account so you can respond like a pro instead of reacting like it's a mystery. Now, step two is where the money is. This is the math that separates I feel like I'm doing okay from I know exactly what I'm netting. Most hosts do the math wrong because they treat the host-only fee like a sales tax, like it's added on top. It doesn't. It comes out of your price. It changes the calculation completely. Here's the common mistake. Hosts near here 15.5% fee and they say no problem, I'll just raise my nightly rate by 15.5%. That sounds logical, but it doesn't restore your payout because the fee is being deducted from the price you set, not added after. Right away you think about this, what percentage do I keep? If the fee is 15.5%, you keep 84.5%. That means your payout is your price multiplied by 0.845. So if you want a specific payout, you don't multiply your old price by 1.155. You divide your target payout by 0.845. That's the clean way to do it. Let me make it real with an example you can feel. Say you used to net about $200 per night on a typical weekday after fees, and you want to keep that. If you set your nightly price at $200 under a 15.5% host-only fee, your payout won't be $200. It'll be around $169. That's not a small difference. That's a why am I working so hard for this difference? So to net $200, you take $200 and divide it by 0.845. That's about $236.69. So call it $237. That's your new nightly price if your goal is to net $200 and your fee is 15.5%. That's why raising rates by 15.5% doesn't fully fix it. The correct adjustment to keep the same net is closer to 18% increase, not a 15.5%. And I know that sounds like a lot, but don't panic because we're not going to slap an 18% increase across your entire calendar and hope for the best. That's how you kill bookings and end up discounting later like a yo-yo. What we're going to do instead is rebuild pricing in a way that protects conversion. That is where your hospitality brain comes in because pricing isn't just math. Pricing is behavior, psychology, and demand. Here's the reality. Different nights have different demand curves. Weekends are not weekdays. Holidays are not random Tuesdays. High season is not low season. So if you take one big blanket increase and apply it to everything, you're going to overprice some nights and underprice others. The goal is not to raise prices. The goal is to raise the right price in the right places so your net improves while your booking rate stays healthy. This is where I want you to start. Weekends first. In most markets, weekends are where the demand is strongest. People travel for leisure, events, family visits, and short breaks. That demand is less sensitive than weekday demand. So if you need to recapture margin, the least painful place is to do it weekends and peak nights, not Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Protect your occupancy nights. Charge properly for your prime nights. Now the second lever, lead time. You should treat bookings 45 to 90 days out differently than bookings 2 days out. If someone is booking early, that's a signal of intent and planning. It often means they're less price sensitive than the last minute shopper bouncing between 10 tabs. You don't give away your best dates too cheaply far in advance. And at the same time, don't be stubborn with last minute inventory that's about to expire. That's why a simple lead time pricing rule is so powerful. You can do it with dynamic pricing software, or you can do it manually if you're disciplined. The concept stays the same. Protect higher rates on high demand dates further out and use controlled adjustments as dates approach if you have gaps. The third lever, minimum stays. Minimum stays are not just about reducing cleaning and turnover headaches. They're a pricing tool. If your operational costs are high and you're getting crushed by one-night stays that churn the property for very little net, minimum stays can increase profit without raising nightly prices to an ugly level. For example, if your cleaning cost is $140 and you're constantly doing 1 and 2 night stays, your net per turnover can get hammered. A 3-night minimum on certain nights or a 2-night minimum on weekends can stabilize operations and improve net profit even if your nightly rate is a little lower than you wish. It's a lever that protects the business, not just your sanity. So step 2 is not raise rates. Step 2 is rebuild your base rate and rules so your target net survives the fee change without trashing your booking momentum. That difference between amateur pricing and professional pricing. Now step 3 is where hosts either win or lose in 2026, and it's all about the way your total price shows up to the guest. Remember, Guests are comparing totals earlier, so your fee strategy and your nightly rate strategy must work together. A lot of hosts historically learned on a lower nightly rate and a higher cleaning fee. The logic was people search by nightly price, so I'll look cheap and then I'll make it up with a fee. In a total price world, that can backfire because the guest sees the total price and thinks, why is this one so expensive? They don't break it down the way hosts do. They just feel sticker shock. So what do? Do you rebalance? You look at your comp set and you decide what fee level feels normal for your market, your property type, your quality level. Then you shift some of that hidden revenue back into the nightly rate so your total price feels competitive and your listing feels fair. This isn't about racing to the bottom. It's about being smart. If your property is genuinely premium, you can charge premium. But if you have to justify it with value signals, great photos, clear amenities, strong first lines in the description, a vibe that feels worth it, the guests will pay more when they feel safe and confident. They won't pay more when they feel like they're getting nickeled and dimed. Here's the most practical way to implement step 3. Without guessing and without breaking your whole business, pick 2-week window coming up that includes at least one weekend. In that window, adjust your cleaning fee closer to a reasonable market range and shift the difference into nightly rates using the correct math so your target net stays intact. Then watch what happens. Watch your views. Watch your booking conversion. Watch your saves. Watch your inquiries. You're looking for signals. If conversion improves, you probably had fee-related sticker shock. If conversion drops, you might have pushed totals too high and your market may be more price sensitive than that window. Either way, you're learning with controlled testing instead of marketing a big emotional change and then wondering what went wrong. Now, let's talk about the 3 mistakes that crushes hosts after a fee change, because avoiding these will save you monthly frustration. The first mistake is blanket increases. Hosts see the fee, increases everything on the calendar by a big percentage, and then spends the next month slowly discounting to get bookings back. That's a recipe for bad data and bad decisions, because now you don't know whether your pricing is wrong, your market is soft, or your listing is being compared differently. Make changes in a controlled way. Start with weekends. Start with peak dates. Don't shock your entire calendar. The second mistake is ignoring total price perception. If you're sitting on a fee-heavy structure that makes your total look high compared to similar listings, you can lose bookings, even if your nightly rate looks fine. Remember, guests don't care how you allocate it. They care what costs in total and whether it feels worth it. The third mistake is focusing only on price and forgetting the value story. Pricing is only half the battle. In 2026, your listing must win the confidence game. Photos are huge. The first 5 images are basically your salesperson. Your first 2 lines of text should say the who the place is and for what it makes it different. Your amenities list should be clean, accurate, and strong. When you price higher, you need your listings to look higher. Now, I want to give you a weekly system that you can run in 5 minutes so you stop feeling like Airbnb pricing is a mystery and start feeling like you're in control. Once a week, open the next 30 days and look for orphan gaps, especially one-night gaps between bookings. Those are hard to fill and they can drag your average rate down. Either adjust minimum stays to prevent them or discount the exact nights that need help, not everything. Next, check your upcoming weekends. Compare your total price to a handful of close competitors. If you're below market and you're booking fast, you may be underpriced. If you're above market and you're not booking, you may need to rebalance. Then check your last 7 to 14 days of performance. Are views up? Are bookings steady? Did your average nightly rate move? Don't overcomplicate it. Watch the basic health signals. And last thing, I'll say, because this is where experienced hospitality operators separate themselves from casual hosts. Don't treat platform changes like emergencies. Treat them like part of the business. Hotels have always dealt with distribution changes, OTA commission changes, demand swings, pricing transparency. Short-term rentals are just catching up to what reality. Then you respond calmly with math and a simple system, you win. So let's recap the 3-step fix clearly. Step 1, confirm your fee model by looking at your own payout breakdown so you know exactly what's really happening. Step 2, rebuild the base rates using the correct math, starting with weekends and demand-heavy nights. Then refine with lead time and minimum stays so you protect conversion. Step 3, rebalance your fee structure and nightly rates so your total displayed price feels competitive and fair in a world where guests compare totals early. And one more compliance reminder as we wrap up. This video is for educational purposes only. I don't offer financial advice or investment services. Any reference to blockchain, tokenization, or DeFi are purely informational and related to hospitality and real estate innovation. I'm Daniel Vosotas. If you want more practical breakdowns like this that help you run hospitality like a pro, make sure you subscribe. I cover hospitality, hotels, short-term rentals, and the real-world technology trends shaping the industry, including blockchain and tokenization from educational, operational focus angle. Now go protect those payouts, keep your bookings strong, and remember, the hosts who win in 2026 aren't the ones who panic. They're the ones who run the numbers, stay consistent, and make the platform work for them.